The Mountaineers end their Louisiana road trip against the ULM Warhawks. I'm Joshua Corman alongside Appalachian State head coach Angel Elderkin. Coach, last time out, a tough loss to Louisiana. Your team was tied at the half, and then Louisiana was able to pull away in the second half. Talk about that game as a whole.
Yeah, I think in the first half, we obviously played a good game offensively, going into halftime with 36 points. Defensively, we didn't do what we needed to do. Number 35 for them came out right from the jump, got a couple old boards, and she set the tone early. They saw the ball go through the net early, and that was something that we spoke to our team about in our preparation, that they were a dangerous team because of that. And the longer on their home court you let them hang around, it could be dangerous territory for us. And, we started the third quarter and we were out of flow. And it's the first time all year where I feel like each player was kind of out of it. And we haven't had that. Usually, maybe it's one or two are having an off night, but we're able to rally because we have three guys that maybe step up. And just for the first time all season, we were completely out of sync.
It's a game that you don't want to happen, like you said, in terms of the third quarter, but it hasn't happened to your team before. What can you take away from that, and what do you think the players can take away from that as a learning experience?
Yeah, that's a lot of our meeting yesterday was, let's address it. How can we grow from this? And there was a lot of good dialogue. I think for the most part, they felt like they were out of sync. But I think at the same time, as a player, just because maybe your shot's not falling, you can't stop leading, or you can't stop talking, and you can't stop helping your teammate. And we addressed some things, just not being on this, like the difference in games that we win being on the same page and games that we lose not being on the same page. So it's an opportunity for growth. A couple players were like, it's not time to hang our heads, and I was like, absolutely not. There's a lot of basketball left, and we all woke up this morning. It's one game, and we didn't play well. And I think the team almost felt punched because they felt like that was a game maybe we should have won. And I think as the head coach and as the leader, I think it was really important for that to happen to us so I could explain to them that on any given night in this league, you can't look at somebody's record. You got to look at the 40 minutes that you got to play. I think our league from top to bottom is so tough this season, and on any given night, anybody can win. And be honest with you, Josh, that's basketball. That's across the country. That's not just the Sun Belt.
Offensively, Maddie Story has been on a tear, but several other key players have kind of been in a rough spell. How can you try and get them going?
Yeah, I think our staff and myself, we're really trying hard to get some players in rhythm here. And, sometimes you try as a coach to talk about it. You try to get in the gym with them. But ultimately now it feels like we're drawing so much attention to it that it's taken some energy away from what we need to do. And so I just hope for today that our players can focus on things they can control, like their defense, their rebounding, and getting themselves to the free throw line. I think sometimes we put too much currency in whether or not they make a shot, and they can impact our game in so many ways. It's not just about scoring the basketball.
Speaking of rebounding, that's been your bread and butter all year long. You've been out-rebounded the last two games. Is it just talking to your team about being more aggressive on the glass, or is there something else you can do to try and get back and win the rebounding department?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a focal point for today in terms of just emphasizing it. I tried to address it at the halftime. I don't think anybody that subbed in off our bench got a rebound. It's concerning for me, to be honest with you, because it's something that was our identity of what made us good. It was kind of our formula for success, if you will. In the last two games, we've been out-rebounded, and I think today we approached dangerous territory with a Monroe team that has been terrific on the boards against the Troy and some of the top people in our league. So we've got to get back to who we are and not try to stray away from what has made us successful so far this season.
Another area that your team has struggled with lately has been the free throw department. I know you put a giant emphasis on it, and you've been working on it in the last couple of days in terms of practice and distractions. Is there just a switch that could be flipped? Is it talking to them even more, or what's going to be the key, you think, in your eyes, in terms of getting better at the free throw line?
I think it's going to be repetition, and I think it's going to be the players having confidence. Maddie was she's been pretty solid at the line. So the other night, that was uncharacteristic of her. And Bailey that's an area of her game that she's struggled with consistently. And she's getting in the gym and she's doing it. And I think now it's got to be a mental toughness piece for her. And even today, we just shot free throws, and you always see her staying in and doing extra. So it's like, as a coach, you can try to instill confidence in them. You could give them a word. You can do different things. But at the same time, it's like you can't get upset. It's not a kid that's not getting in the gym and shooting 500. It's not a kid that didn't stay up all night in her hotel room being upset about the fact that she couldn't make free throws, So my job is to continue to keep getting these guys to maximize their potential and just believe in themselves.
ULM is another team that record-wise is not as good as Appalachian State, but how can you not pay attention to that and just try and readjust your team to focus on, like you said, any team can beat anybody in the Sun Belt?
Yeah, I think we just got to really look at what we do and play hard and understand that in playing hard, mistakes happen, and move on to that next play, both offensively and defensively. ULM, although their record is not like ours or what it should be, they're a really difficult team to prepare for. They're going to slow it down. They're going to try to get this game in the 50s. They get an offensive board. They're going to make us defend for 30 seconds. And to be honest with you, I think that's one of our weaknesses. I think when a team grinds us out and they force us to defend for 30 seconds, that's when we have mistakes from the 10-second clock down. Our last two games, our defense under 10 seconds has been terrible. And so today's game is a major concern for me. I'm not looking at a record. I'm looking at a team that plays a style that could disrupt us.
Lastly, any final thoughts before this 3 o'clock game?
Yeah, I think we got to be us. Number one, we got to control the tempo. Don't let their style of play affect what we do. Number two, we got to rebound the ball. And I think for myself, on the board before the game, it's going to be the only thing I talk about because it's the separator and what makes us good. Actually, it makes us go from good to great. And so hopefully you'll see a team that rebounds the ball today.
Thank you, Coach, and we'll talk to you after the game.
Thanks.